Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick and we're going to be looking at a game that a few of you have requested on the channel on the Atari 2600, and this is Berzerk, published by Atari in 1982 and of course based on the arcade cabinet from Stern in 1980. Now I'm sure you're all familiar with this game, but essentially you control a stickman around a random generated maze and you must evade or destroy a group of armed robots and then get to the next maze and basically score as high a score as you can. So there I am, that orange stickman. I can fire in about 8 different directions. The robots start off pretty timid at the start, but they will get a bit more aggressive as it goes on and start shooting at you. Now the maze is electrified, so if you bump into that you die. If you bump into a robot, that you will die. Now in the original arcade game, if you hang around too long, a creature called Evil Otto turns up bouncing around. Doesn't look like he's turning up here. Maybe you have to wait a little bit longer. Let me know about that. And that's essentially the game. It is pretty addictive. I've reviewed versions of it on the ZX Spectrum with ZX Berzerk, and a later version which come out called Horace and the Robots, which is quite cool. So check that one out as well. That is quite a cool homebrew. But we're concentrating on 8-bit Atari stuff. Did you own this one back in the day? Let me know. This is 1982. So with my dodgy gameplay, let's see how far I can get. So you score points for shooting robots and getting onto the next maze. I'm not quite sure how many different mazes there are in this as the robots go wide. Quite cool animation for small things, and it is very addictive, this game. Now if you do know somehow how many mazes it could possibly generate, then let me know as well. I'm gradually going through the Atari 2600 games, a computer that originally came out in 1977, originally known as the Atari VCS, and it's in a lot of people's hearts, so I'm glad that I'm reviewing these sort of games. Right, we will build out a catalogue as we go along. I believe there's just under 500 of these games, not counting any tricky homebrews I might not have heard of. That's him dead. There we go. Good stuff. A very addictive game, a very simple game, and that's why I love retro. It's quite often the simple games that bring the most memories. The games you could have picked up as a kid and been good at almost straight away, but then it took quite a while to perfect. Good, right. Oops, sometimes the robots randomly generate almost on top of you. Oh, I've got hit in the foot and I've been electrified to death. Excellent. Oh, not quite so excellent. Brilliant. Now, what is your favourite version of Berzerk? Is it this one for nostalgia reasons, or is it on a different system, or a sort of like clone? Say my favourite one has to be on the Spectrum, a modern day one, Horace and the Robots that we mentioned, but you can't beat this for retro power. This is probably the earliest one I reviewed. Off the top of my head, I can't quite remember when ZX Berzerk came out. That's probably on a very similar time, to be honest. Boom! What is the highest score you ever scored on this one? Let me know. And of course, a lot of you have nominated games you'd like me to cover on the Atari 2600, but Heroes come up a few times, and a few other good games. Well, every time you suggest them, I will write them down, and we'll come up to them as quickly as we can. We're covering quite a few systems at the moment, so it might take a while to get to, but we will get to it eventually. Great stuff. Good stuff here. Now, if you're watching these and you've got any thoughts about them, then please comment. Even if you like the game, you hate the game, whatever your views are, any memories you have, because it always creates extra conversation. We don't always have to agree every time. It's just reliving the memories, really seeing how the game plays back in the day. If you're someone watching these that didn't grow up with these sort of games and you're a bit later on, you might think this is very, very basic indeed. So look at it from a historic point of view. You couldn't have had the modern games you have today without these. So how far things have come in such a relatively short space of time. And I've used up all my lives there, so we'll have a few goes on this one. Got to love the Atari 2600. I do love the Atari old system. Never played a game on the Atari Jaguar, of course. Yes. What were they like? Were they any good? The only sort of like, yeah, ones I've sort of like played now, the Atari 2600. Good stuff. Right. Come on, Stickman. I don't know what this Stickman's name is, because I haven't got the instructions. Did he have a name in the instructions? Or maybe we can give him a name. These robots will just go on forever. I don't know why we're attacking them. I don't know why they're attacking us. Well, I know why they're attacking us, because I'm walking around their maze shooting them all. That's probably why. You could take this idea quite a long way, couldn't you, really? You could have a Jurassic Park Berzerk. You could do anything you want with it, really. Who owns the license? Does Stern still own the license, or is it actually lapsed now? I didn't play it in the arcades. Did you do that? Did you play in the arcades? I think it was like 10p a go or something like that, or 10 cents maybe in the US. Could have possibly been playing this for ages. But this is when retro was innocent and basic and cool, and they didn't have all the swearing in it, apart from your swearing when the robot kills you, of course. I really want to review Pong. Did that come out on the Atari 2600? Let me know about that as well. It's always good. It's always a rite of passage, I think, as a retro game reviewer, having a look at these. We recently did Space Invaders on this very same system, so hooray! Right, here we go. Good sounds on this, as you would expect. So, you know, it's not using much memory, as you would expect, but it's nice colours, it's basic gameplay, and it works straight away. You know what to do. A kid's imagination would have gone a long way in this game. You would have invented your own storyline, as a lot of us probably did, and you might have done your own artwork as well. It's, you know, imagination. I do worry about modern day gaming, really. There's nothing really to the imagination. A kid hasn't really got to add anything to it, not like these, as we crash into an electrifying wall. Hooray, cool, that was a quick go, wasn't it? Man, I've got to get used to how these scores go. I think sometimes if you kill all the robots, your score goes down. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's best just to leave one of these guys alive. Right, see you later, R2-D2. Boom! Or are they C-3PO? Oh, Maximilian from the Black Hole. Lots of robots to choose from. Has there ever been a Star Wars skin on this? I very much doubt it. But there's stormtroopers about the place, and you could be in the Death Star, couldn't you? That would work quite well. If this was released nowadays, there'd be loads of DLCs with all these different themes on it, which would cost you a fortune. But for essentially the same games. There'd be a Jurassic Park one, there'd be a Star Wars one around the Death Star. What other ones would there be? Loads. Lord of the Rings, where you're against orcs or something. Yes, and you'll be like, I don't know, Frodo or Bilbo Baggins running around the place. So we might call this the last go. The robots are now gone white. Now, depending on what colour they are, they do have different abilities and functions. The yellow ones can't shoot, I don't think. Right, green, what do? I think they might be a little bit quicker and they might shoot a little bit more often. Whoops. Okay, so try and avoid all the fire. Oh, see. You can't run very fast. Outrunning lasers has never been my strong point. Right, use this as a barrier. That's him gone. Take a shot there. Good. So it's probably a good strategy to keep your distance with these. Short range, you might come a cropper. You might end up getting killed quite quickly. Looks like the robots are random colours in each level. It's not staying a different thing. I thought it would be connected to scores, but that's not the case. Light orange, slightly different colour to the stickman. Aliens, that'd be another good skin, wouldn't it? With the exomorphs running around. That'd be super cool. Blue aliens, alien robots. Right, take that, you. Their laser is always the same colour as them, which is quite colour coordinated. As I take a shot to the square head. Oh man, I don't like when it generates right next to them. Here we go, 1500 points. Is that a good score? Seems like there's a lot of gaps left over. Yes. Ah man, gone back to the yellow robots and they've taken us. I said the yellow ones couldn't shoot, didn't I? That one shot at us. Yes, I lied about that. So what's going on? Maybe they found out a gun. I think it's a Spectrum version. See, the score's gone down. The Spectrum version, I don't think they could shoot in yellow. I think I've done 2 versions on the Spectrum, ZX Berzerk and another one. Its name temporarily escapes me. It might even be called Berzerk. I think one was 1982 and one was 1983. So very similar era to this conversion. But they didn't have this variety of different coloured robots. And as a kid, when you saw different coloured robots, you really thought you was going somewhere. Would like the maze to change colour, but it doesn't. I think on all versions I played, it stays like blue or like mauvey colour. What do you think? One more go for luck? We've seen all the gameplay anyway, but it's just so addictive, this game. And the classic games always are the ones that are the most addictive. Astro Blaster, Space Invaders, Berzerk. Name your favourite addictive game below. Hooray! It's all about 4 on this channel, which it aims to be. Draws people in, sharing stuff, get conversations going. Retro should be fun. Quite often on the internet I see arguments going on about different systems and stuff, and that's not how it should be, really. Yes. There we go. Maybe I'm a bit idealistic, really, but retro gaming should ease stress. It shouldn't create stress. It shouldn't create division. That's what I'm saying. Boom. Right. And this stick man, he shouldn't die so often. That robot's gone. That robot's gone. 2 left. I think that one's going to run into the wall for some reason. Maybe he's got bored. No, he stopped there. Right. He's got a bit of a good CPU on him. Goodbye, white robots. Oh, some more white robots. Right. Let's pass this thing here. They're like the battle droids in Attack of the Clones, Star Wars. Maybe that's where they got the idea from. What do you think? Use the Force, Luke. Luke Skywalker's in Sector 4, sir. Sector 4, where's that? That's where all those green robots are. Yes, but it isn't the Death Star. It's Berzerk from 1982. We know this. Oh, God. This is an odd party. These robots must be wondering what's going on. There's a stick man wandering around shooting everyone. I mean, he's the villain of the piece, isn't he? It's not like we've got to rescue our kidnapped girlfriend, which happens in just about every other game. It's just running around shooting folks. Oh, you can shoot their lasers out the air. I didn't know that, so I found that out quite later on. Right. I don't think we've seen all the mazes, but it is quite satisfying when you land one of those diagonal shots. This could be my last life left. Come on. Whoops, outrun that. Good. Nice bit of weaving. He's learning stuff, this fella. Good animation on the running for the day. You couldn't use it in any CGI film now. Oh, no. Right in the back. These robots have got no morals at all. Right, and nor have I, as I take out those 2 purple robots. Berzerk with a Z. Yes, I've seen lots of different spellings of this Berzerk game in different clones around the place. It's one of those ones that was cloned a lot. Not cloned as much as Space Invaders and Pac-Man, to be honest with you. I'm told Pac-Man on the Atari 2600 isn't that good, but Miss Pac-Man is good, so maybe we'll have a look at both of those. So, hope you liked having a look at that one. That was Berzerk on the Atari 2600, published by Atari in 1982, and based on the arcade cabinet from Stern in 1980. Got any comments about that game, anything retro, or anything at all, then please put that below. You're always more than welcome. A huge thank you to everyone that's subscribed so far. It really helps the channel move on. And if you like what you're seeing and you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. I'll be very grateful. If you want to help the channel a bit more, there's always patreon.com/njenkin. Every bit really helps the channel continue, develop and move forward. Until next time, take great care of yourself and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.